is the Psychic Sleuth, and I'm going to be doing the validation on Maleah Davis. And first off, I want to say that this is very sad. And I know that many people are psychic bashing out there, which is not cool at all, because we're not God. We don't know everything. We might get some stuff right. We might get more stuff right. It's all going to depend. So you can't expect us to know everything. That's not how it worked. If it did, more cases would be solved. Things would be a lot different. We are humans that are trying to help find these people. You guys don't understand how much work and time and effort goes into this. It takes hours and hours out of my day. And so, before you do that, you need to understand about how this works. We are connected to a whole nother realm. Not everyone is going to be 100% all the time. If you are, then you're not human or you're cheating. Some spirits are harder to talk to than others. Some are more direct, and some just don't know how to explain where they are. If you look and break down the readings, there are hints to where she was. But how my gifts work, I connect also to other cases, either ones that I'm going to work on will come in or other ones will pop in that are similar. I'll get references to other cases. So my gifts work a little different than other people's. And that's not an excuse or anything. That's just the way it is. My friend calls me the double psychic because I'll get future information in my readings. Maleah was coming through private readings that I had. When we look back, there was things that matched her. So, like the picture that I was showing you guys. I don't know if that was connected to Maleah. I thought it was because it came in around the same time. It could be the guy that set the dam in Norway. It could be another case that hasn't happened yet, the way that my gifts work. Sometimes I see things weeks in advance. So the only reason I thought it was her was because it it came in the same time I was working on the case, and it was obsessed in my mind. I kept seeing it over and over. I haven't since really seen it since the guy at the dam's been found, so I'm wondering if maybe it was him or it's going to connect to another case. That's why it's confusing for me, because if things come in randomly and I'm working on one case, I don't really know where it belongs. And I have to figure out the puzzles just as you guys do. I can't look at a map and tell you, oh, she's right there. That's not how my gifts work. I have to go by clues that she's giving. She'd give a lot of clues to where she was, but the beach stuff, I'll explain why I think that came in. So, but I don't need people that are supposed to support me turn on me. I don't need psychics bashing me back, trying to say I was wrong when they're not going through all the clues that were there, because there was a lot of clues that were there that we missed. And towards the end, I started going up towards Dallas, so I think I wasn't thinking she was down there. I started going the other way because it didn't feel right. It didn't fit to me. I kept thinking, there was another reason I was getting that. So, I have to break down my readings and see how they fit. No, I'll admit I wasn't exact. I don't think anybody was exact on this, and part of that I'm thinking is because she possibly was moved or something. There's something really off about this, and the fact where she was is where the brother drives through. But so, not saying he's involved or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a little weird. So, I think she confused me a little bit with the beach stuff. But as I stated, they will bring up things that they love, places that they love. They will also bring up past, present, and future. So when I say she was burnt, I don't mean that was necessarily that day. It could be in the past. It could be something that happened during the past. We know that there was abuse. It could have been an accident. It could have been on purpose. I don't just bring up stuff that is just right now in the here and now. I wish it was that way, but can only get what I'm getting. So it also validates that, the beach also validates her happiest memories. It validates the video of the stepdad, since the stepdad's the one that did this, innocent till proven guilty. I have to say that, but I mean, we all kind of know. So that video of him there with the beach, it kind of validates that. So later I kind of figured out maybe again why it was referenced more. But that's up to her. Like I said, maybe she's connecting another case, which I think she did. I don't know. She wanted to talk about it, so it made it confusing. Yes, we can misinterpret how it comes in. So while she's saying, "Hey, it's a place I loved," or "It's another case," I'm thinking, "Hey, maybe she's there," because I'm like you, I'm putting the pieces together. Um, and so I was going to do another reading again before this happened, but I got swamped with Lizzie, and I actually was going to do it like that day because I think that she would have went more this direction. But when I'm working a lot of cases, things will interconnect, like I say, and things will come in from other cases. So, like I said, not all is going to fit here, but some does, and some um will connect. Some things connect, from the stepdad, her mom, whatever. So I think the reason that a lot of us psychics said water, and I don't watch other psychics, but I was told, is because she's probably submersed at one time. Having 10 to 30 inches of flooding in the area and she's in a ditch, it's going to fill up with water. So there was one time I feel like she was in water. And that's especially when that part of the reading was done, and that's why, because that's when the flooding was going on over there. If you think about it, you're in a ditch. Any place that gets water, it's going to fill up. So there was one at a point in time. Um, she mentioned Harriet Tubman and Pocahontas. If we have Googled this, we would see that it pointed to Arkansas because there's a Pocahontas, Arkansas, and there's also Harriet Tubman was from the whole thing was Little Rock, and that whole Arkansas had to do with slavery. So um, I should have known how this works by now, but I'm still learning to try to piece it together as well. Both are symbolic, as well as the area of Jackson was there, and there was Jackson and Washington out in Hope. So the name Hope came back way in Molly, like a year ago, and the dream a few months ago I had of the name Hope. I thought it connected to this other case I was working with, the husband and his wife disappearing. Um, so because that's when it came in, because remember I get things months ahead of time, so I don't really know where it fits till it happens. So there is, if you look at the map, an electrical place right there, extremely close off the freeway, um very close to where she was if you look at the map, because she was off exit 18. um she was found 15 feet off the road. 15 came in twice, if you remember, and also in a black bag. The black bag was also mentioned. um we don't know if there was rocks in the ditch, but there could be why I was getting rocks. Also, there's another reference to that later. Red and water sources. Sometimes rivers that are wide looks like lakes and visions nonetheless. Red River is right there. You cross a brown bridge to get there. Red River Cafe, coffee can be symbolic for this, because a cafe, people go there, drink coffee, whatever. Lake, in this instance, could have very well been symbolic. As I stated, they are very symbolic a lot of the times. We don't know it when we're getting it, but seeing somebody in a lake could actually mean that the word is lake. So the road nearest to the area is called Red Lake. So also lake is the name in her syntax. If you're in the group, we syntax was done, and that was a word that came out of it. So lake in this instance, I feel was symbolic, because Red Lake Road is right there, and she did say red, and Cheryl came up in red, back in red too. Red came back in Cheryl's a long time ago, and I remember when reading, she said, "Don't forget the red." So like I said, she's bringing up future cases for me. Lots of trees. There is lots of trees there. It is a wooded area. Stating that he had time, which he did. Blue for child abuse and other color of balloons. There is a white tower on White Oaks Road off 30 Frontage Road, so it's very close. A picture, somebody put out a picture with hearts in it that says "for baby girl." Hearts and baby girl was, validated. The mud lake that's right there looks pretty marshy. If you look at it's probably more full of water, but if you look at the map, it does look pretty marshy. I think it probably goes and comes, as the water rises and goes down. Little from Lizzie interconnects here. Little River runs into Red River. She brought in Little. Also, one. One was very big in Lizzie's case. As we know, 1 block, 1 o'clock, but also Road 1 right here. So see the interconnection, what I'm talking about? They interconnect. And the fact that Lizzie was found just a few days ago, which is weird, because I realized I did the first reading on the 26th and she got 26. But see what I mean? That they do interconnect, and being around the same age. So basically, I think they were both trying to help on these. So at the apartment number, which 14 came in a random auto write, there were white bears. White bears came in, balloons with Disney princesses. Disney princesses came in, roses, rose came in, and rainbow on the banner. Rainbow also interconnects with Lizzie. It was her favorite color. And there was a rainbow flag, which were 2 validations I needed to put on there. So that was an interconnect. Now, it's very possible that the airplane was also because how she would come home. It was also at night, so probably why the runway lights. That's why I say past, present, and future. You do pass a airport on the way there, and there is one in Hope, but that is, I think the big validation is that is how she was going to be brought home, and that we needed an airplane to get there. We didn't know that at the time, actually looking for an airport. So pumpkins, like I said, I'll pick up area search. The haunted house was searched, so I'll pick up things that go along with the case. So I think the whole beach thing was, yes, she loved it. Yes, it validates the videos of them being there, but also there's an eerily similar case that was sent to me. Riley Ann Sawyer was found in Galveston Bay. She was wrapped in trash bags and placed in a tote. She was beat to death, and her head was hit so hard. This was the mom and the stepdad. An island was named after her, Riley's Island. I had no prior knowledge of this. Back in Cheryl's reading, they are from Ohio. I was going to say Anne came back in Cheryl's reading. Little Annie. It's possible it could connect here. They're from Ohio, and so is Cheryl. So she stated Little Annie, like I said. I'm wondering because the grandma's name is Cheryl with an S. Funny connection there. So I believe the case came in together, or Maleah was referencing it, which happens sometimes. I do get cases that are references in order to say this is a similar case. Too much fits, also evidence of sexual abuse. Also, I was down in the area of Galveston looking around, and I think I picked her up. So I also got an R. Her name is R. Riley, and her stepdad's name also begins with an R. I got Flamingo in the group randomly, and Vista and Lizzie. Well, it's by Bayou Vista and a place called Flamingo. I think I really picked her up when I was down there looking on the map. That's why I wanted to do another reading for Maleah. I just hadn't got to it in time. It was also a very big case back then. Lots of things done in her name. After all, Flippin' Island was named after her, a cross with flowers. So that's another reference. It was a big case, just like Maleah is a big case. So you see the connections interconnecting. Okay, so back to Maleah. The workers thought that the bag was rocks, so that could be my reference as to why I thought rocks were in the bag. The apartment does have stairs outside. He punched Maleah in the head, according to his statement. That would be my head pain. I think the knife may go back to Lizzie, seeing how they're interconnecting so much. I was working too at the same time as well. There is a picture of her in braids with plastic barrettes on the ends. Harriet Tubman's husband's name, and her kids' names were Davis. So that could be the connection that she was trying to talk about. Also, Harriet Tubman was the one that helped the slaves. She suffered the head wound for her passing, and Yellow Rose of Texas, who was this girl named West was her last name. She was a slave. Both slave references. The growth of slavery in the state directly linked to its expansion by 1860. Arkansas was home to more than 110,000 slaves, and 5 white citizens was a slave owners. So the majority of these held only a few slaves. Only 12% owned 20 or more slaves. So basically, what I'm saying is if we would have looked more into the Harriet Tubman and all of that, we might have seen the Arkansas reference. I don't know why she didn't say Arkansas. That's just how it is. Like I said, some don't know exactly where they are and they don't know how to explain it. So in Cheryl, I already talked about that. Sorry. So I don't know why that's on the right. The red blinking light. In the distance from that street, you can see an airplane tower with a blinking light. I was shown from the street, you could see that. So that is probably why. Also from the road. And purple flowers grow in that ditch and around that ditch. I was shown pictures of that already. 59 turns into 30, and along the way it turns into 12 and then back to 30. Also, she was found 12 miles from where he stated, so there's the 12. Trinity is nearby. If you've been in the stuff in the group, Trinity came in the syntax in Mom's name. I've been looking for Trinity River in Dallas, so I had started to go up instead of down. It didn't feel right down by the water, down by the ocean. It just didn't fit. So I never said for sure she was there. I just was giving what she was getting, and now we know where it's connecting and why. So, she did say in a place no one would look, no one would think of. Well, this is an area that no one thought of and no one looked. And it wasn't a road well traveled either, apparently. Um, Texas came on back in Delphi, could point to this case. Let's see. There were stuffed animals put out for her, a balloon release. Pink was her favorite color, and there was a candlelight vigil. All things that happened after I had done the reading. Alamo is probably symbolic of Texas again. Also, Alamo connects to the Yellow Rose of Texas. Also, Frozen Princess is on her bathing suit. Apparently, she is wearing polka dot pants from what we know. Blood was found in the house. As you know, I don't look at the news or anything like that. So, Remy was the scent dog that picked up her scent in the trunk of the car. Tub is significant. It was where her tissue was. There's a horseshoe-shaped lake on the way and very close to where she was found. It's crazy because it looks just like a horseshoe. You pass oil along this route as well. There is also an Allen Ferry Road very close on the other side of the freeway. George, Washington. There's a street called Washington. Also, many monuments and parks in hope for him and the presidents. Jackson being one of them. I believe, like I said, also saw Jackson in Arkansas. So, also there's a T. Thompson Road that you pass. You pass Holiday Springs Water Park. There's Springs came in another reading. Holiday actually came in Cheryl, but it also first came back in Amaya when I did that. And anyway, there's a water park very, very close. You would have passed it. I got a reference to the end of May. Now this is crazy because we all know that she was found on May 31st. That is the exact end of May. So that was a big hit. A lot of times, also, someone's going to be found. Cases will skip a bit, go to the next one, interconnect more. Letter A, Arkansas. That was actually one of the only letters I got, so that's pretty interesting. I think, if I can remember right, in this reading. We do know there was some type of abuse. I think the car was close to home, and that's why I got close to home, is they were talking about the car. I literally said, something happens and the bag breaks open. Well, that is what happened. Purse strings, it is the right to power to manage the disposition of money. There was a reward being offered. Don't know why I came across that way, but it is kind of a southern thing. I also wonder if there's another reference to money somewhere. Historical. The whole place is apparently historical, but they first went to a historical site. I said close to a bridge that goes over water. This area is literally right after you cross over the Red River. There's also a brown bridge there as well. Reference to drugs. We don't know, but it sure came up in his name a lot. Or, his name a lot. Or her name. The mom, I can't remember if it was the mom's or dad. There is a Brook Road nearby too. Not close to home. Nope, she wasn't. Arguing mom and stepdad. It was admitted that happened actually. That happened right before apparently this happened. There was an argument, and that is why he took it out on the girl, apparently. Lights for the city. You would see lights as you were driving through. Cowboy references, hats, belt buckles, bulls, longhorns. You can go for Texas and surrounding areas that have this. Arkansas, I believe, is a cowboy area as well. It was kind of funny though. The night before she was found, I had a dream of my grandpa. It didn't really feel like him, but it was maybe referencing him, and he was from Arkansas. I don't know if that was what they were trying to tell me, but I kind of find it a funny coincidence. So I realized that this kind of seemed way off because most people were focusing on the last reading with the beach. As we know, that was her happiest moment. As we know, she loved it there. As we know, there was a video of her and her stepdad there. Validates her stepdad did this. And it validates that other case of little Riley because it's so similar. She was referencing a very similar case. I mean, it didn't really tell where she was, but that's why another reading was needed, and I didn't have the time to do it, and I apologize for that. So, but if you look at the map, like I said, you may think it's way off, but Maleah, I think, had a hard time describing things exactly where she was. She did have some things hit in a symbolic way. Was it my most accurate reading? No, I'll admit that. I'm not full of ego. But I will say what did hit, and a lot did actually hit when you go back through. But a lot of people don't focus on going back through and finding all the validations and seeing what matches. They just go by one reading. We're talking about all of it together, right? She didn't just give her one reading, she gave 3. So, um, I still have a lot of validations, and it shows I was speaking to her. There are some things that do point to the area. It was just harder to find because sometimes I do feel a polar map very slightly. I wasn't anywhere near Arkansas, I couldn't feel it, but I was headed that way. Um, so because it was confusing with her bringing up all the beach stuff, that's why I felt one more reading was in order. But like I said, this happened and she was found, which is the way it was meant to be. So, which when this is going to happen and someone's going to be found, my readings will kind of skip a little bit. Maybe she's trying to help someone else, or maybe she's just fond of those memories and knew some areas would be talked about by her mom. So I'm so glad this little girl is found so she can be put to rest. She is the Yellow Rose of Texas, and Texas's sweetheart. All of those, and I'm getting the chills, all of those Texas references is because she went missing in Texas. If you find any more validations, I'd love to see them. I'm probably getting hate right now, but I really don't care. I really don't care. Um, because I know how this works and the people in my group knows how it works. And if you're gonna join my group, don't turn on me because I'll just block you out of there. Um, it's hard when people don't start putting pieces together, take the stuff and put it together. It's hard. I'm talking to a child here. Yes, she's an old soul. She's trying to explain where she is, but she might not even really know how to explain it. I think she did the best that she could. I think we did the best that we could. you know if people want to complain, they're more than likely to try it themselves. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. um but I think that this is why these videos are very important, the validation videos, to kind of show people, yeah, this is what you're missing when you're listening. You didn't go back through the reading. We went back through every part of the reading. We looked at the area, we looked at the case, and we pieced it together. Those are the things that fit. A lot more fit than I expected to fit. So yeah, like I said, it is a very strange case. She was very kind of hard to communicate with. I think I think she did the best that she could, and I think I did the best that I could, and I think that I'm not perfect, and I think that no one's perfect. So, if you expect someone to be perfect, then get off your high horse because no one's going to be perfect. That's not the way this works. Uh, Very hard to communicate with the other side. It's not easy. And we have spirits that are lined up, or I do, so I know that they jump in here and there, and I know it can get confusing. My gifts don't work like everybody else's. Um, they just don't. It's unique in the fact that I'll get future cases when I'm working on a case, and I don't know it till it happens. Um, they interconnect. So thank you all for giving your love to Maleah. She thanks you, as she stated in her reading. She's very appreciative of the love that she received. It filled her heart and her soul and her spirit with love and peace and joy, and it did me too, to see all the love that she received and everybody banded together. That's what the USA is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about us banding together to find these people, to love these people, to have a voice for those victims whose voice were taken. And so that is why I do what I do. That is why other psychics that are not full of ego do what they do. That is why we try our hardest. So please be careful. Don't bash them. Don't bash me. You know, it hurts us just as you would be hurt because we're trying to do a good thing here. So please be kind to one another. Please love one another. That is what will bring light to this world that is so needed, because so much darkness going on right now. The last thing we need is a bunch of bull crap. So until next time, you guys, have a good one.